5,000 miles. You! 5,000 miles of adventure on this old Jeep Gladiator, from the snow in Washington to King of the Hammers in California, but mainly towing this old A-liner trailer across the country. So, gonna give you my thoughts on the first 5,000 miles and my hopes and dreams for the next 100,000. So, we'll see you there. Woo! She's a mobber, boys! This is what I got. Oh, we're now 5,001. Gotta make the video quick, Phil. So yeah, overall, absolutely love this Jeep Gladiator. I got it to put a camper on, not to tow a trailer, but I've been doing that a lot with it. Just temporary little home on wheels, because I love living on the road. So yeah, I've been living in this thing for a month or two now, and just loving it. I took the back seat out. As you can see, there's a bunch of crap back there right now, so don't look back there right now. But yeah, I got a lot more room, and my main goal is to set this up to be, number one is really like a capable rock crawler, but the true purpose, and really the secondary but just as important, if not more important purpose, is to be a comfortable home. But I wanted to make sure, I really wanted to go back to the whole rock crawler thing. So I had a 2008 JK for 4 years, loved that. This truck's a lot longer wheelbase, not a lot, but you know, significantly longer than the JK. And that's really the biggest difference. Obviously it's got the bed and all that, and the departure angle is worsened quite a bit, which I haven't had any issues with yet, but I haven't done any hard wheeling. If you're new to the channel, you probably haven't seen the Dodge Mahal, which was my full-size Dodge Cummins truck camper that I lived out of for most of last year. And I sold it because I really wanted to recreate that same truck, but shave 2,000–3,000 pounds and do it with bigger tires, lockers, and a Jeep rock crawler type home on wheels. But again, this video is about the Jeep Gladiator. So the very first time I drove a Gladiator, I test drove one at a dealership that had a 2-inch lift and 37s. I just took it into the wash by the dealership, and I was speechless.
How you like it, Philly?
I mean, it's pretty cool. What do you guys think? It was just so smooth, and that's the biggest thing that I think differentiates this Gladiator from my JK, for example. It's so smooth. The longer wheelbase, it can hurt you in some ways, but overall it makes higher speeds a lot more smooth, which I love. I think the biggest limiting thing of this truck in stock form is the suspension. The rear end of this truck is incredibly bouncy when it's loaded down. If it's just me and it's fully empty, you don't really tell. But towing a trailer, when you have, you know, even just when you have 3 or 4 people in the truck, or if you have weight in the bed, you can tell it's really bouncy. So much so that the first real off-road run that I had with this thing at King of the Hammers, I was even joking about it, how I was jumping up and down in the bed like a trampoline. We got Brad from Trail Recon back there behind us. Epic group mob. I've been thinking about some suspension upgrades. This is one of the reasons here. It's kind of like a trampoline. Woo! Oh, I was trying to jump up there. That's too sketchy. Yeah, so she's a little bouncy. Might have to worry. Might have to take care of that.
That's what I thought too.
I'm thinking some Icon suspension will take care of that, you know what I'm saying? But it's been awesome to drive this truck from Arizona through California, Nevada, Oregon, and Washington. We hit a bunch of snow, which was awesome. I didn't really do anything special. I aired down to 15 PSI. I went in 4 low, and this thing just cruised. I realized towards the end of the day when I started to do some donuts in the snow at 2-wheel drive that I probably could have gone the entire day in 2-wheel drive. Because this thing's just super capable, and even when the axles aren't locked, the posi lock works great. So if you're considering getting a Sport or an Overland model without the axle lockers, honestly, it's not a bad idea. I am very glad I got the Rubicon because I know I'm going to be pushing this thing to its limits, especially when it's got bigger tires and things like that. But if you're just starting out, or you're not quite sure how far you want to push it off-road, the Sport or the Overland would probably be just fine for you. A lot of people talk crap about the Gladiator, and I don't think this is really owners or people who've actually driven them as much about the Pentastar motor being underpowered. Paired with this new 8-speed transmission, this motor is a whole new world compared to what it was before. My old JK definitely felt underpowered. This truck does not feel underpowered at all. It doesn't feel overpowered. It doesn't feel like it has a ton of torque. It's got a lot of mid-range. It doesn't have a lot of that low-end torque that you get from a V8 or a diesel, for example. But it does have a lot of mid-range and top-end power. And I just put the MagnaFlow exhaust and a new intake on this truck. The MagnaFlow Rock Crawler exhaust sounds fantastic. It's not annoying sounding at all. It doesn't have that drone. It's just got a little good throat when you get on it. And it does give this thing a little bit more power and predictability. The Gladiator pulls a trailer great. I'm going to do a whole separate video because most of the driving, unfortunately, that I've done with this rig has been towing a trailer. My trailer I've been towing is the A-Liner. It weighs about 1,300 pounds, probably 1,500 loaded down with my gear, but this thing tows it effortlessly. The longer wheelbase makes towing amazing on this truck compared to the JK. Now, as far as the power department, it tows a lightweight trailer just fine. I would not want to get this truck primarily for towing. If I was planning to primarily tow a trailer or something like that, that'd probably be the thing that would make me get a different truck. When you compare the Gladiator to other trucks, for example, I would say it is pretty small. Even compared to a Tacoma, the interior feels smaller. You're very close. For example, I could touch my door right here without having to lean over very much. I lean over that much and boom, I'm touching my driver door. And that's just a Jeep thing. The Jeep is smaller. With it being smaller and more tight, it's got a really cool attack position. And the driving position just feels, I don't know, it feels really nice. Like you can see over the hood a lot, and it's just a really fun vehicle to drive. It feels just very adventure-y in the cockpit area, but it is tighter. Also, there aren't any other mid-size trucks, even full-size trucks for that matter, that you can fit 35-inch tires with no lift and 37s with just a couple inches of lift. And also, you can fit up to a 38-inch spare tire in the spare tire location. I don't know of any other trucks you can do that with, so that's pretty sweet. As far as the first 5,000 miles go, it's been amazing. Absolutely no issues. I've romped it off-road. I haven't been shy, and I really haven't gained any new Jeep rattles or anything like that in the first 5,000 miles. In the first 1,000 miles or so, I could hear a little bit of things starting to loosen up a little bit, but it has like no rattles and no noises whatsoever so far. The past couple weeks I've been back home and I'm so excited because I've just started modifying the Jeep. I did not buy this thing to be stock. So we just put a Warn Elite bumper, yep, a Warn bumper, they do make bumpers now, and a Warn Xeon 12S winch in there. We put a MagnaFlow exhaust as well as the intake. So we're awaiting an Icon suspension. Yep, that's right. At King of the Hammers, like you saw before, we got to hang out with Brad from Trail Recon and Jeremy and Scott and a lot of the Icon crew. We got to see the Icon Gladiator perform at its finest. So I'm going to have the same suspension setup that the Icon Gladiator has and that Brad from Trail Recon has on his Gladiator. That is on order, so we're just awaiting those stage 2.5 shocks with CDC adjustable compression knobs. Super excited to be able to dial in the ride in that way and just be able to mob. The Gladiator that we saw out there was just doing some impressive stuff. We are eventually, once a lot of the main mods are going to be done, we're doing a flatbed and a super top secret camper that all I can really say is, well, it's going to be a camper on there, and it's going to be the coolest one, I think, that's been on a Gladiator yet. So tons of stuff to come. I'm so excited. The first 5,000 miles were amazing in this thing. All smiles, all fun. All the parts I've installed so far have just been a blast. Everything working on this Jeep is awesome. And overall, I'm just so happy that I bought it. Thank you for watching. Comment below. Let me know what you think. Make sure you hit that like. Turn that big thumbs up blue if you did enjoy the video. And if you've been staring at my Down to Mob shirt wondering how you can get these, you can get these at teespring.com/stores/downtomob. Also check out downtomob.com for some more links on those. And if you truly do want to support the channel and support what I'm doing, check out my Patreon. I've been working really hard during these times to get you guys lots of content. And on Patreon, I've started doing exclusive weekly updates that nobody else will hear except for my patrons. So check that out. Thank you so much for being here. It's going to be an epic year. And the only question is, are you down to mob? Mob.